So now it is time to welcome our next subject expert, Mr. Shailendra Goswami. Mr. Goswami is the chairman and managing director of the Pushkaraj Group with over 3 decades of rich industry experience across marketing, manufacturing, operations and strategic systems. He began his journey in the corporate world before founding his own venture in 1992. Since then, he has worked extensively with MSMEs and startups, helping them build cost-effective strategies to scale up successfully both in India and internationally. In recognition of his contributions, he received the IIM Bangalore Alumni Services Award in 2024.
We begin the day with a keynote address by Mr. Shailendra Goswami. He is also associated as an advisor with Aditya Enterprises and Tanmay Enterprises.
We have our next speaker, Mr. Shailendra Goswami. Mr. Shailendra Goswami is a hardcore businessman who has established Pushkaraj Group and associate companies and has a wide network in 16 countries and 12 cities. I mean, when you talk about 16 countries and 12 cities, this itself gives you an idea of his achievement. In diverse market, and he's always keen to utilize his rich expertise and guidance to the younger generation in enhancing Make in India initiative, which is recently declared and which has got an enthusiastic welcome by our Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi, Make in India. And I think we are...
Hello and welcome to the 4th edition of International Automotive Manufacturing. We have with us Shailendra Goswami, who is the chairman and managing director
of Official Manufacturing Magazine. And today at our Industry Next event, we have Shailendra Goswami.
Hello, welcome to the 5th edition of the International Automotive Manufacturing Summit. We have with us Mr. Shailendra Goswami, Chairman and Managing Director, Pushkaraj Group.
Hello and welcome to Brainberg Podcast. This is yet another episode of Brainberg Podcast where we discuss the nitty-gritties of workplaces, education and well-being. Today we have a special guest with us. We have with us Mr. Shailendra Goswami sir, who is MD and Chairman of Pushkaraj Group. He has been working in the space of manufacturing, international trade and various corporate capacities for more than 50 years. His experience and expertise has shaped many professionals like you and me in Pune and across the world. Today we'll be understanding more about his journey and his insights into the shaping of entrepreneurial journey and employment in the 21st century. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, you have such a vast experience of 50 years, and many times when we were discussing earlier, you've shared your experience about working in corporates for 15 years and 35 years in your own enterprise. And this has been so fascinating. What keeps you going, sir?
My desire to create a value-based ecosystem is something at the back of all these years of my professional career of almost 50 years, wherein I have been always chasing solutions for problems encountered by individuals, professionals, industry, students in the academia, and in general, wherever there is a problem, I would like to contribute myself and offer a solution which is cost effective, which creates a win-win situation for everyone. And the second most objective with which I get governed is value adding. So with the kind of experience that one possesses, everyone is looking at the contribution where one can increase the value proposition of a given organization in terms of products, in terms of markets, in terms of customers, and what have you. So the agenda, if you really ask me, has been full all along, and that is where I did not get time to even think whether I'm really going or whether I'm just relaxing or whether I'm aging or whatever. So every day is a new day. Every day is full of meetings, networking, problem solving, value addition, and every day's agenda keeps me going. Amazing. I think that should be...
Amazing. So many a times when we were discussing, and most of the times you've been talking about people. People forms one of the important aspects when we journey through our lives, through our careers, whether we're working for someone or working for ourselves. People is an integral factor. You say networking is an important aspect. There's a study by Harvard which says, which was a fascinating study about happiness. It says, what keeps you happy is your relationships.
Correct.
Whether personal or professional, how you maintain your relationship is important. And you also emphasize on those factors very importantly. So can you tell me how do you keep up your relationships active and going? And it's my personal experience also.
Yeah.
Many times before me calling you, you call me up and say, what are you doing?
Yes. Actually, I would go back to my student life where my teacher had told me that when you are working in an environment, you are not working alone. You are working either in a group or you are working within the society, you are working within an organization where there are going to be multiple groups, or you are working from one organization to another organization where there are several groups there are several groups here. So my teacher had told me that if at all you want to succeed in life as far as profession is concerned, you have to strike a person-to-person relationship first. If a person, he may be your customer, he may be your supplier organization, if you strike an equation with that person in that customer organization or supplier organization, person-to-person relationship, if succeeds, business or organization to organization automatically falls in place. And this I have been experiencing it for last so many years, almost 5 decades, where I have always cherished my relationships with customers or with suppliers, whether I do business with them or not. Even today, I can boast about my relationships which I have created in 1974, 1977, 1992, or even as late as 2026. And certainly when I am talking about relationships, age is not a factor. I have my friends at the age of 20 also with whom I played badminton, or I have as old as 85 or 90 years old where my earlier employer used to have that kind of a conversation with me. And these people have given me that benefit of having those relationships getting converted into some kind of a value-based businesses, which we have enjoyed. All the stakeholders in the game have enjoyed that kind of a stuff. And to build these relationships, I'm very, very proactively making an effort. Because simple things like caring for others or empathy or understanding the problems from the other side of the table is something which really brings you that kind of a friendship or a relationship which one is looking at. Prima facie, if I project myself as a person who has a character, who is very authentic and who is also interested on a long-term platform, then people certainly look at you in that parlance.
So,
and these things are very, very important when we are working it out. So like you said, that I'm very, very proactively taking a step forward in building up relationships, as I had talked to you also, that in our times, when I'm talking of 70s or 80s, we didn't have so much of digital media.
Right.
So person-to-person connection was very, very important.
Right.
With today's digital onslaught, maybe people are meeting digitally, but physical meetings were very important. I used to travel almost 20 to 21 days in a month to do my businesses, and geography was not a consideration. Wherever my customer was there, wherever my supplier was there, I used to travel. And that built it up, that kind of relationship. So whether I'm traveling in a train, I keep talking to the fellow passengers, or whether I'm sitting in an airplane, whether the flight is only an hour, who is sitting right next to me is not important. But that conversation is very important, and I make friends like that.
Right. So you spoke about, and in this conversation, it is very engaging as well. You spoke about 2 or 3 important factors. One is character, other is being authentic. The third is long-term, relationships. I remember, an amazing book by Naval Ravikant, who writes in the Almanac of Naval Ravikant, he says people have to invest in long-term businesses and in long-term people, and then being authentic about what you're doing. So introspection makes it all happen. In today's world, people look outwards. People look at what people say about them. How does it help to look inside and check whether what you've got, your qualities, your abilities, and being true to yourself? How does it help? Can you share some light with the viewers?
Yes, I can give you an example, several examples, but I can give you an example in marketing. When I'm discussing with customer a particular proposal, my proposals are all transparent, in which I reveal the entire data, what I have worked out for that particular proposal, in which I will also share what is going to be my profit, and I justify why I should get that particular profit. Now, this builds character. This builds that authenticity, that I also tell my customer that if any of these items listed in this, they demand a revision in particular pricing, and if you are ready to guide me on that, I am ready to correct that.
Okay.
And which is where customer understands that yes, somebody is in business to make some profit, and that profit, if it is reasonable, if I can justify, that works very well. So transparency in the game really builds up that kind of a character, that kind of authenticity.
Right.
So when I'm talking to people over the years, initially maybe I would have had to really give out all those things to really establish myself as an authentic person or a person having a deep character as such. But today when I go, everyone knows if Goswami has come, he must be having a proposal which must be right.
Right.
So there is very little scope for negotiation because he must have honestly put what is required to be done, which is where today I am really happy to say that the customers which we started in Pushkaraj as a group in 1992, their customers are still there.
Right.
And I have got more than 300 plus OEM customers who are dealing with us day in and day out.
Right.
Now, retaining those customers for last 35 years demands that kind of a character of the organization, of the people working with it, like me and my son. We both reflect the same philosophy. We reflect the same authenticity, and we reflect the same character, whether it is individual, whether it is our team, or whether it is the organization, or whoever it is. So people draw that comfort when you establish yourself as a brand which has that character, which has that authenticity, which has that seriousness, and ultimately what is more important is the brand which performs.
Right. So this is very inspiring, sir, and it makes us think in the world today that we are living in. People often complain about the challenges that they face, the adversities that they encounter, the problems that they face, and most of them are focused towards this is overwhelming and this is taking me down. Maybe back then, while you were building your own enterprise, and also like in today's world where you're helping youth understand how it works, what kind of role does this adversities and challenges play in one's shaping his enterprise? How do you one look at adversities and problems?
Again, I can pull out several such examples because challenge is spice of life. If you are walking on a straight road which is absolutely clean, nice, there is no challenge. But if there is a cross country, it does mean that you have to exert, you have to show your skills, and you have to overcome that kind of a cross country ride.
Right.
On a plain road ride, anybody can do that. So you become a part of majority. But I have always remained a part of minority who has accepted the challenges. The second part is that I perfectly believe that for every problem, there is at least one solution, if not many.
Right.
Now, this sentence I have been talking on different platforms, that for every problem, there is at least one solution, if not many. It totally depends on your intellect or your wisdom, how fast you reach that solution. And to get that solution in the fastest possible time, you have to have your span of thinking, you have to have your reading, you have to upgrade, you have to be updated as far as the knowledge bank is concerned. And when you are repeatedly really doing these exercises, you become master of that particular technique. So problem is one thing. Second part of it is that I also believe that when a door closes, there are several others open.
Right.
So I do not crib on a door which closes on me. I really am looking for another one which has opened.
Right.
And this is exactly what I did when COVID was also there. So in COVID times, the series of lectures or webinars which I conducted had these two elements, that problems and opportunities during and after COVID.
Right.
And the series of webinars which I conducted gave me a lot of confidence that what I was pursuing as a line was appreciated by most of the people on the other side of the table, and they started believing in themselves. So ultimately what we are doing with the kind of knowledge or the experience that we have gathered, we are making the surrounding, or we are making the ecosystem take a sort of a positive approach towards problems or challenges.
Right.
One need not get scared with the problems, one need not get scared with the challenges. Otherwise, if you really succumb to these two factors, then you can't see the growth, or you can't really progress in the system that you are trying to work out.
Right. So for a young entrepreneur who's listening, or for a corporate employee who's listening, where he or she faces the challenge in his daily life, could be of like relations, could be of like opportunities or finance as well. And mostly people face these challenges in their 30s and 40s, when they're trying to juggle with their families, their opportunities and their growth. This sounds very empathetic, like you take problems as an opportunity to overcome things. In real life, sir, people give up. People say that this is not helping me grow, and at that time we're just very close to solving certain things. In your opinion, in your experience, have you encountered such occasions where it was really like it was taking a toll on your strength, your endeavor and everything, and you said you were just about to give up, and you did not give up, and you were able to have a breakthrough?
Yep, actually. Most of the times when people are getting into that position where they would like to give up, we should go back to the step one, where we have made certain miscalculations or misunderstandings or misinterpretations because of which that entire castle was built up.
Okay.
So if the foundation is wrong, naturally the building on the top of it or whatever that is standing on the top of it is not going to go the way you have planned it. So I always say that when you are getting stuck, go back to the stage one and start once again. It's like computer.
Restart.
Meaning get out and get in again. So nothing happens. It's only that the system resets itself,
right,
and then the computer starts working. So it's the same manner. In life also, all the problems are solvable. It's only that the clarity of thinking, which is what I said. I have written very recently on my LinkedIn, the 40-second article on my readings, where I have said clarity of thinking does matter. How you think will decide what are going to be the next 10 steps.
Right.
Because that thinking is going to build up your foundation, and on that foundation you are raising tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 and so on and so forth. So therefore, if I really look at it, there is no problem which cannot be unsolved.
Right.
It is only the matter of understanding or the clarity with which you approach that problem really makes you either succeed or fail. Now, another aspect which I try to build up with most of my audience when they come to me, I give an example of a doctor simply. When you go to somebody, whether it is homeopathy, Ayurveda or modern medicine, what he does, he just is going from the basic first principles.
Right.
He's checking up a couple of things, and then suddenly he realizes that you have missed this.
Right.
And he gives you medicine, and then you are recovered.
Right.
In business also, it happens exactly the same way.
Diagnostics is important.
So diagnostics, what we say is that it's a prognosis, diagnostic, analysis, and solution.
Right.
The stages of solving a particular problem or stages of reaching a particular solution are very, very important. And if you really follow rigorously, or on a regular basis, you build up a personality.
Right.
Where somebody is coming to you, I take out a paper and a pen and start writing a couple of things, asking basic questions. And then he realizes that all his answers are lying in the basics rather than making it more complicated.
So it's first principle again, and I believe the today's workforce, we have to go back to education again, and there is where it all begins. So your work in that domain is also like commendable. You have been on the board of more than 10 universities, colleges. Also most sought after personality where people seek advice. And when you talk to these budding minds in colleges and universities and the professors altogether, they also want someone to tell that yes, the road ahead is good, you just want to keep it up. So what is the advice that you give them in their journey?
Yeah. Prior to that, I'll slightly take a preamble on this, that why did I associate myself with the academics? Now, on this side of the industry, when we are interviewing people, we realize that there are many, many gaps in the requirements that in the industry has and the candidate who's prepared for that kind of a requirement. So there is a big gap.
Right.
Now, when I realized that this particular gap is there, the fault is not with the student or the candidate. The fault could be in the system. And which is where I decided to associate myself with the system.
Right.
In which there are two fundamentals which come in. That today, when I'm discussing with the academicians, we are discussing what is that productive employment. The concept of productive employment, if applied to engineers, it is hardly 55 to 60%.
Right.
And for management graduate, it is 60 to 65%, which means that if you take an average of 60 to 65% people are employable, what about those 30 to 35% people who for no fault of theirs are not employable?
Right.
Because the system through which they have gone may not be catering to the requirements of the industry or of the recipients of those people. So the recipe basically has to be changed.
Recipe.
Which is where my first objective when I deal with the academicians is to set right the system in which a curriculum or the syllabus comes into picture. Then a proper upgradation and upskilling of the faculty members. If the faculty members are conversant with the techniques, they can naturally educate. Because people like us going from outside, we cannot handle all those 10,000, 20,000 students.
Right.
In which case, who's the medium or the conveyance in between is the faculty ecosystem. So if we upgrade timely or upskill timely the faculty members, then those people can further educate the student a lot, and that is where the community building starts as far as the knowledge base is concerned. Now, having done that, if you go back and try to find out, there are not going to be enough jobs. So everyone cannot get a job, in which case what happens? Rather than job seeking, you have to learn to give jobs. So people have to have that kind of an entrepreneurial mindset created at the educational institute itself.
Right.
Now again go back to the curriculum.
Right.
Is our curriculum designed to accept entrepreneurial exercises for students or not?
Right.
Which is where my contribution comes in.
Amazing.
So we create center of excellences, we create incubation centers. We again orient the institute to create some kind of a startup ecosystem right there when the students are getting education. And they are creating now the hackathons where they are building that competitive environment among students. And I have evaluated several such projects in engineering colleges and management, and the fantastic amount of ideas which are getting generated out of that.
Wonderful.
Startups are getting created. When they come out, they can boast that they are entrepreneurs. Somebody is ready to invest on such good ideas and they become entrepreneurs.
Amazing.
Now, the third objective, which is very, very important, is the brain drain. As a national interest, I looked at it that we have too much of a brain drain. Why do people go overseas to pursue education? When we have all the talents available, our own people go. India is one of the largest exporters of manpower.
Right.
And I don't need to count how many people are there in US who are heading the American organizations. But then having said so, if those people can remain here and create an ecosystem, the country also can benefit out of that. So this is where that third agenda comes into being when I associate myself with academicians, is that why don't we bring those universities into India? Collaborate, in which we can have student exchange program, we can have faculty exchange program, we can have research collaborations, and we can virtually have a joint degree allotted to somebody. So if Harvard is giving a degree along with some university, Pune University, people won't mind paying that, because if you really look at the kind of expense, it is at least 3 to 4 times expensive to acquire a master's degree outside than what we do it here.
Right.
So this is the third objective with which I am really keeping myself busy as far as the academia is concerned. Now all this is leading to what? All this is leading to good potential candidates for
industry
and the national interest for the country.
Right.
Now, when we are the biggest beneficiary of the age factor around the world, our more than 55% population is young.
Right.
Between 25 and 35.
Right.
Now, if these people are ready, professionally or otherwise, just imagine where our country will be.
Amazing.
Today we are at the third place. Tomorrow we can become number 1 in the world.
And that is the vision.
That is the vision of our government, our Prime Minister, everyone.
Yes.
And which is where we as intellectuals or we as veterans in the field, I personally feel that it's the time to give back to the society, which is where I am going back to the academics, or I am going back to my alma mater or whatnot.
Amazing. So you spoke about the clarity initially, and then the focus that our educational institutes needs to have and to create that workforce which is independent and employment giving. We at Brainberg have also been focusing on certain important aspects. Some important aspects in this entire ecosystem, and that is about knowing oneself, having clarity about oneself through our tools and techniques that we have developed. You have been aware of some of our methods. We definitely see that this entire transformation that should lead us towards that one vision that we are looking at 2047. In that journey, do you see that we are well placed as a nation, as a youth workforce, to take that Herculean task of being world's number 1 economy or world's number 1 superpower in the globe?
Actually, I do not get into numbers game. I always talk about the kind of a value that we propose to the world.
Right.
The number game fluctuates depending on whatnot. We might score on numbers also, but what is more important to me is that how much we are capable of giving it to the world, or how much we can extract from the world because of our intellectual capital, because of our manufacturing prowess, because of our information technology prowess, or because of our agriculture, because of our textile, because of our pharma and whatnot. So rather than playing the number game, I would like to create an ecosystem where people will look at India as a global manufacturing hub, as a global IT hub, a global manpower hub, or a global agricultural hub or something like that. So whenever somebody requires something, they will have to come to India. And which is the vision with which I go forward. Because numbers game is a business sort of a thing. When we are talking about national priority, we don't want to get into that business mode where profit is the only thing. So what we are trying to create is a country or a nationalistic objective where we are trying to cater to the requirements of 20 years hence or 30 years hence. So when even the government, present government is talking about 2047, what are going to be the technologies in that? In fact, in Pushkaraj Group profile, if you really look at it, one of the verticals what we have is technology forecasting, in which we are trying to imagine what are going to be the technologies 10 years hence. Whether it is emissions, whether it is mobility, whether it is fuels, whether it is emissions, sustainability and sort of a thing.
Wonderful.
So at individual level or a small organization like ours level, if we can think like that, if everyone starts thinking like that, nation builds up automatically. And people have to push us up.
Right.
rather than we pulling up.
Right.
This is the concept which I always believe. Now, if somebody has to push us up, we
We'll
have to
have to help
create
them.
that kind of
Wonderful.
base, and automatically you start floating.
Right. So this is amazing, and this really keeps us grounded. Also, building that value system. In today's world, more emphasis is given towards the know-how. But in real world, if you see what makes a long-term impact is your character, your values, and everything. So one of the things that I noticed in your journey so far is, apart from doing so much of work in industry, you've also been focusing on that, personal hobby, the personal, happiness that you seek from. And I come back to your achievements in singing. So you have been, doing a lot of work, plus doing a lot of singing as well. You've run your own YouTube channel. You've been, awarded so many awards for your singing. Kids today, or youth population today, or anybody who is looking at you today, will definitely feel being successful and being happy are two different things, but it's not. You've made it possible today in this life now that being happy and being successful are equally possible. How is that, sir?
Actually, for that, I'll need to take you some 60 years back or 50 years back. I was like this initially. In a student life, I was a singer. I was doing my pencil sketches, which I have exhibited in Balgandharva. I played national tournaments. I was a part of a cricket team of College of Engineering. Then I used to play badminton. I used to play softball. I played 5 nationals. I was honored by the governor of Maharashtra, honored by mayor of Pune during those days in student life. And I was very active. And therefore, when I was in college, I was also the general secretary, unopposed. Nobody stood against me. In College of Engineering, 2,000 students were there. And I was an unopposed general secretary. So those things were there from my student life. And maybe I inherited from my parents or whoever it is. And not only singing, sketching, or playing nationals, I used to play instruments also. And even today, I play my great-grandfather's harmonium, which is there in my house. So as a sort of a passion, because I personally feel that music always relaxes you, refreshes you. Now, after that, like I always say, that there is a time scale distribution as far as your life is concerned. So in student life, we had one objective, that doing academics, and thereafter you had your own time, so you did those extracurricular activities. Once you graduated from there, you went into post-graduation. There again, you had the academics and then the extracurricular activities. So when I was in IIM Bangalore also, we won all the competitions in Bangalore, whether it was Indian Institute of Science or Christ College, as far as music was concerned. So we did several compositions ourselves of converting Hindi songs into English and sang, of doing certain other creative jobs. So I sang in for Punjabi Banglas, I sang for Kannadas, I sang in Marathi, I sang in Hindi, I sang in English. So it was an extracurricular activity. Cut to, I went into profession, so I had to put that in safe deposit vault, because that time the objectives were building up career. So for 15 years I was running and chasing my career, and I became somebody in those 15 years. And thereafter again, life took another turn that, well, this was getting very, very stable and very comfortable. So at the age of 39, you should not be so much comfortable when you have everything. So what would you do for next 40 years? And which is where I disrupted my life. Disruption is a word which most of the students or most of the people use it today as a jargon. But I disrupted my life, fully settled to fully unsettled at the age of 39. And I started this Pushkaraj Group, and today it has become a good conglomerate where I have my own family members, my succession, my sons, daughters, son-in-laws, and everyone are taking care of that. And this is where, like any professional manager, a definition of a professional manager is to make himself redundant in his own job.
Right.
Which I effectively did by having a good succession planning. And therefore I had a whole lot of time. Whole lot of time again came in. So the objective here again, definition of those objectives was, one was problem solving, value addition. And the third one was, again, I brought back those extracurricular activities into my life because I had lot of time available for doing this. Now, in this, I floated this company, consulting, in which I again do advisory, going back to society, giving it back to students and things like that. And when I get time, I pursue my music. Sketches, I hardly spend time these days. But then for my grandson, on his birthday, I put his portrait and gave it to him.
Oh, amazing.
For my daughter, on her marriage day, I sketched her and gave her portrait to herself.
Wonderful.
And those sketches and portraits are there with them. And yes, games are restricted because of age. But even till the age group of 55 plus, I have won all the badminton tournaments in Pune, in doubles, in Old Monk. And I think you need to find time. The time is not available. And I always believe in one thing, which again my teacher had told me, that only busy people find time.
Right.
So I always say that I'm busy, but I have time.
Right.
And this is where today I'm enjoying my, whatever that stint after 50 years of contributing back into the society, contributing within our businesses and pursuing my own hobbies and keeping me happy. And that could be one reason why I'm even today fit enough.
Right.
Without any
Wonderful.
accessories or without any help, I can keep working for 8 to 10 hours. And I have my routines starting from 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning.
Amazing.
Till goes till 10:30 in the night.
Amazing. So this journey has been rewarding for, listening to this journey has been rewarding for us. And equally the viewers would, subscribe to the view that being happy and being successful can be a part of your life. Sir, this message is resonating with most of the youngsters today, that when you want to live a life, fulfilling life, you have to work smart, you have to work towards achieving your goal. And your narration today of your experiences should be like helpful to chase their dreams, understand life better, and be happy and successful in life. To our viewers, I would say this conversation would definitely help you shape your journey. If you really feel that this conversation has helped you, you can share your comments and likes. And you can definitely, reach out to us. We'll be passing your, views to sir as well. In a last moment, sir, you would want to give some advice or one pointer to...
I cannot forget why I have reached this particular stage. In this, the biggest contribution in my life has been of my parents, my mother and father. Initially to start with the siblings, the brothers and sisters. And thereafter, at a certain age where you are really climbing your career path, your family, which comprises of your own spouse, wife. My wife has been rock solid standing behind me. And I can endorse that statement. Behind every successful man, there is a woman. So that woman for me is my wife.
Amazing.
And I give all my 100% credit to her. Why I'm sitting here today and narrating you all these experiences. Without her support, maybe I could not have come this far.
So nice.
And even today, I am having that we stand for each other and we created a wonderful family. And naturally, the entire family support has given both of us that confidence to live life happily. So therefore, in today's world, when people are craving for space, everyone wants a satellite home, everyone wants their own this thing. I will say that we are a joint family. We live together, including my son and my daughter-in-law and my grandchildren.
Amazing.
Everyone we live together. And we enjoy relationship. It's all friendly, healthy. And without that, I would not have come this far. The second advice, second most advice which I would like to give to the audience is that remaining fit is something very, very important. Remaining healthy and fit is very, very important. Why you are seeing me here after 50 years narrating what all I have done is only because of my fitness.
Right.
And for that fitness, with a military discipline, I have maintained my diet, my exercises, and my routine habits. people may have everything, but couple of cardiologists or doctors have narrated the chart for 24 hours in which you can easily find 3-4 hours for yourself. So find time for yourself and remain fit, because the journey of that 50 years, what you have done, you have toiled, you have slogged, you have done hard labor. If you have to enjoy the fruits of that labor, you have to remain healthy to see to it that you really enjoy those fruits of that labor.
Amazing.
Now, this is something which I make a mention in every conference or every speech of mine, that remaining healthy and fit is the bottom line. Everyone must understand, to enjoy the fruits of your labor, you have to remain fit.
Right.
Today I am enjoying my grandkids. Today I enjoy everything, the empire which I have created, which is being run by my succession, and I am enjoying everything.
Amazing, sir. Wonderful.
Reminiscing all those 50 years has been a wonderful, you can say, a gift which God has given me. And last but not the least, something like this happening to an individual, there has to be some kind of a blessing.
Right, sir.
Coming from somewhere. And I always say, like I have given my credit to my better half, my wife, I also feel that I'm only a conveyance. I get my blessings from some unknown strength, and I am only using those blessings and passing it on to the society. So it is not me. It is not Marathi. We say that मी, माझं आणि स्व हे तिन्ही गोष्टी यातनं बाहेर आहेत. आणि हे जे काही मी करतोय हे कुठनं तरी येते आणि मी ते कन्व्हेन्स म्हणून I have been giving it to the society. So I am always grateful to my Almighty for giving me this life, giving me this health, giving me this family, giving me this respect in the society, and also giving me those blessings, because of which I could reach out to so many people.
Wonderful.
Maybe he is liking what I'm doing.
Wonderful.
And I cannot stop doing this.
Wonderful, sir. So this was very encouraging and inspiring as well. We thank you to join us on our Brainberg podcast. Every listener, every viewer on this podcast will definitely seek to these 3 advices. And I believe some of which are very much a part of our nation building as well. From family to society to nation, every unit is in synchronization. And when we have that harmony in us, we definitely look forward for that growth, individual or collective. We thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. And you have been doing a great job at Brainberg. And I personally have vouched for the concept. And most of the people have been liking it also, because personality mapping is something which is very, very important. Not many people understand who they are, and which is the space in which you are working, and which contributes a lot. In fact, my grandson has taken that mapping from you. Right. My granddaughter is in queue, which she should be doing it in the next 1 or 2 months.
Sure. Sir.
So it is very, very important contribution that Brainberg has also been doing. Keep doing that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So viewers, now we take your leave to meet again in the next episode of Brainberg Podcast. Until then, thank you for being with us.